Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, December 6th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We're starting to see those cold fronts. Well, one of them at least starting to make its way southeastward, closer to the central Caribbean. It's now across the northwestern Caribbean, affecting portions of the Bahamas and Cuba, and it's definitely going to be bringing some amount of northeasterly flow of wind across Jamaica for tomorrow, and we might even see a dip in the temperatures. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can still see all of those clouds associated with that trough across the main development region, heading into portions of the Windward Islands to bring showers and thunderstorms to those areas. We can also see clouds associated with another surface trough right there to the south of Hispaniola, moving from east-west. And we can see the clouds associated with that cold front, stretching all the way from northern section of the North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the northwestern Caribbean, as well as that other cold front that's currently across portions of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, December 6th. It was stated that we would have received some amount of morning rainfall. So Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning rainfall across portions of northern parishes in Jamaica. Then during the afternoon, it would have spilled into sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. And if we remember our northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Central and western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex for central parishes, and the parishes in the county of Cornwall for western parishes. And just as predicted, at 3:30 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok page. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make other posts that are not made here on our YouTube page. And we can see the post made at 3:30 a.m. highlighting the Cuban Doppler radar images showing those greens and yellows that represent light to moderate and even some heavy rainfall in some spots across sections of some northern parishes especially. So definitely St. Anne, Trelawney, St. Mary, Portland got in on some of that rainfall. Then another post was made at about 3:05 p.m. highlighting the visible satellite images. We can see that flow coming in from the northeast. And we saw some clouds that piled up across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica, more so southern parishes in Jamaica. So definitely sections of Portland, sections of St. Andrew. We definitely had some amount of isolated showers across sections of Halfway Tree and New Kingston as well today. We can also see that we had some of those clouds building across sections of St. Elizabeth, definitely Clarendon, and especially Manchester. And we can see on the visible satellite image before the sun went down, we can see right there that huge burst of convection across sections of St. Elizabeth and Manchester, where they indeed got some decent rainfall and even some thunderstorm activity, because even the infrared satellite images were showing those high cold cloud tops, as represented by those blues and greens that represent some amount of cumulonimbus clouds. And we can also see those sparkling white dots, and we know those represent some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. But we can see that as of right now, everything has cleared up. And the Cuban Doppler radar images confirm this. As we can see, we don't have much taking place across the island. Even though this is a glitch, we see the 7:50. Right now, I see on my clock about 9:53 p.m. I apologize for the late post. All right, so taking a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, This map does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall today. So definitely a section of some northern and eastern portion of the island in the morning hours. Then during the afternoon, we had that buildup of clouds, that afternoon rainfall taking place across sections of some central and western parishes, more so southern Jamaica. As it relates to the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 3 a.m. on Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, temperature should dip down to about 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that Jamaica is embedded in some grays and some slight blues. And this is valid from the GFS for 18Z on Thursday. This is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. So the cold front is starting to dip a bit, more southward. Look at those greens and blues across the southeastern US that represent a lot of below average temperatures. Some of the blues making their way into portions of Central America and the Western Caribbean, and some slight shades of blues across portions of Jamaica is what is being predicted. And we know that represents anywhere from average to at least 1 degree Celsius below normal temperature. So we're indeed grateful that that's going to happen. We're in the month of December, or average temperatures is about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 29 to 30 degrees Celsius across the island for tomorrow. So we'll take it as long as it's not some drastic above normal temperatures. Taking a look at the dry air map, we still are being plagued by a lot of dry air, as you can see by those yellows, oranges, and reds across majority of the Caribbean, including portions of Jamaica. We can see the dry air represented by the key at the bottom, so yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds. As it relates to the wave forecast, unfortunately, we don't have the SAR and dust map to show. Don't know, it's glitching out a lot these days. As we can see, we have on the Euro and the GFS model blues surrounding the island, and we see those darker shades of blues as well. So anywhere from 1 to 1.5 or even up to close to 2 meter wave height is what is being expected. And as it relates to the wind forecast, clearly the cold front is bringing more, and we have some northeasterly trade winds across the island, and we can see it even better on the wider view. So all of those yellows, oranges, and reds across the waters of the southwestern Atlantic, of the southeast coast of the United States, all courtesy of that cold front. And we can see that flow across Jamaica for tomorrow, definitely from the northeast. As we can see here, definitely from the northeast on both the Euro and on the GFS. And if we actually take a look at what's being forecasted across Jamaica, we see those greens that represent anywhere from 15 to 20 knots, especially on the north coast. Not so much on the south coast where we see those blues, so it's definitely going to be feeling hotter than normal. On the south coast, the lack of sea breeze coming in from the north, considering that whenever those winds are coming in from the northeast across northern Jamaica, it's gonna be hitting a lot of terrain, and then there won't be that much wind left across majority of the southern portion of the island. And we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this. And one more thing, all of this northeasterly flow of wind is definitely gonna be, bringing more in way of rainfall across northeastern Jamaica, with all of that relief rainfall that's gonna be taking place. So all of these clouds are going to be coming down, and then they're definitely going to be piling up across section of northeastern Jamaica. So it's definitely going to be one of those days again where Portland, St. Mary getting the brunt of the rainfall, and then the southern portion of the island not so much. But we might see something spilling into sections of some southern parishes. And if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast now, we start to see the blues that represent rainfall as early as 7 a.m. And look where it's located. Northern Jamaica especially. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. Some of it might even spill into sections of eastern Jamaica. So St. Thomas, look out. Skipping ahead to about 11 a.m., we still see much of the same. Rainfall, represented by the blue, still plaguing sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica especially, as well as sections of some eastern parishes, as the Euro is suggesting. Skipping ahead to about 3 p.m., we start to see much of the same. We're seeing something on the Euro model showing a cross section of southwestern portion, maybe St. Elizabeth, but it's not being, agreed upon by the GFS model. GFS is still focusing all the rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. Either way, they both show consensus with that. And then finally, look at this. It's even going up into the nighttime hours. This is 9 p.m. on Thursday, and we're still seeing much of the same. The blues that represent rainfall across sections of northeastern Jamaica, especially, as well as maybe sections of St. Thomas. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, it makes sense that the accumulated precipitation forecast is showing something similar on both the Euro and the GFS malls for especially northern and eastern Jamaica. GFS seems to be a bit more robust with the rainfall totals expected. Keep in mind that these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then, but within this time period, it's definitely going to be on and off starting as early as 7 a.m. Even before that across northern Jamaica. It's definitely going to be a rainy day across sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, maybe sections of eastern St. Thomas. And we can see the Euro model showing up to 0.45 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS only getting all the way up to 0.36 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, we're indeed grateful we're going to be receiving rainfall. We're in the month of December. It's our dry season in Jamaica. We usually receive less rainfall during this time period, especially the south coast of Jamaica. That, especially the south coast where we have that, that rain shadow brought about by that relief rainfall. We know the windward side, the northeastern side usually gets the rainfall, and that's definitely what's going to be happening tomorrow, all courtesy of the cold front. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we have some of those clouds from the trough coming into sections of the Windward Islands. Still have a lot of weather taking place across the northeastern Caribbean. Well, not the northeastern Caribbean, the northeastern portion of South America. So definitely section of French Guyana, Suriname, Guyana, section of Venezuela getting a lot of overcast skies and showers, as well as thunderstorms across those spots. Some of these clouds are already making their way into portion of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, section of Barbados as well. As usual, section of Colombia getting in on some amount of overcast skies and rainfall. Honduras, Belize getting in on some heavy rainfall as we speak. Guatemala, section of the Yucatan Peninsula. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of those areas across the eastern Caribbean, we can see not much taking place across the Leeward Islands at all, just a few isolated pockets of showers to the south of Puerto Rico, to the northeast of Puerto Rico as well. Zooming out, we start to look at the Barbados radar. Let's use the Barbados side for this. So we see that rainfall right there coming in from the east southeast. Some of this rainfall going into sections of Barbados as we speak, and more to come tonight into tomorrow. You can also see that rainfall coming into sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Definitely gonna be getting in on some more rainfall tonight into tomorrow. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that we just confirmed on the satellite images across sections of Guatemala and Belize, not to mention sections of Honduras. The rest of the basin seems to be in the clear from the ABC Islands to Florida. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that average to above normal temperatures will be plaguing portions of the Caribbean tomorrow. It's just the northwestern Caribbean that's going to be getting in on those below normal temperatures. Taking a look at the wave forecast now, we're starting to look at the forecast. We can see that we still are going to be getting anywhere from 1 to at least 2 meter wave heights across majority of the Caribbean. More in the way of those 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, as we can see by the blues. And we can also see that the winds are going to be coming in strong. Those bright greens that represent 15 to 20 knots coming in from the east for majority of the Caribbean. we can see more, and we have some blues across the eastern Caribbean that's representative of anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 knots, while it's the central and western Caribbean that are going to be getting in on the 20 to 25 knot winds, especially across the greater Antilles, where it's going to be coming in from the northeast, all courtesy of that cold front. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast, now we're starting to see more of the reds that represent up to an inch of rainfall or more across the eastern Caribbean. So there's definitely going to be some amount of flash flooding taking place. Look at all of this rainfall across sections of Trinidad and Tobago, sections of French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Eastern Venezuela, Grenada, the Grenadine Islands, St. Vincent, Barbados, sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, even spilling into sections of Guadeloupe. It's the areas to the north of Guadeloupe that are going to be seemingly in the clear, as we can see by both the Euro and the GFS malls. Then some isolated showers could be plaguing sections of northern Puerto Rico, northern and eastern the Dominican Republic. So the southern portion of the Dominican Republic are being plagued by that surface trough. The northern portions are going to be plagued by what's coming in from the northeast to affect portions of that island. We can also see an isolated shower or two across section of eastern Cuba as well. For the most part, the Cayman Islands seem to be in the clear, but look at all of that rainfall expected from now up until then across sections of Belize, Guatemala, sections of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. And the thing is, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing something similar. I know that when they're showing something similar like this, the chance of the actual happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.